Right, right.
And
Unfortunately, it won't get the job done. This is a temporary thing just to keep in the Salvation Army another day. We don't want to talk about that, I don't think. Okay, so we're down in Port Orange. We're talking to Mayor Pro Tem Ted Noftall, running for the mayor's job. Let's see.
While you're seeing, can I just finish up on Monica Jones here for a minute? The other issue here, too, is we don't know how many Monica Jones there are in Port Orange.
Yeah.
How many other people were injured financially because of City of Port Orange policy? What we need is a humane policy to deal with water breaks.
Well, as you see, Tracy Ream, the chief financial officer, has written to the city manager for this workshop tomorrow on water, saying, I think she was saying, simplify this damn thing.
Yeah, well, I think she's referring to a different issue, and that is the billing problems they've got in Port Orange.
Okay.
And Monica Jones wasn't a billing issue, it was a water leak issue.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. It's horrendous, horrendously complicated, the billing system they have in Port Orange. And Tracy Reams is absolutely correct to ask for direction from council in terms of how much they want to simplify this puppy.
Yeah, well, it's so complicated. When I asked her for a chart so that I could understand the billing process, she said she was not able to send me one because the computer is programmed with these horrendous 467 different charges for a gallon of water and a gallon of sewer, and 99 ancillary charges. That's so complicated that there's no chart that she could make up for me.
That is absolutely correct. It can't be quantified in a chart.
So whoever passed this ordinance, they got to have their head examined. So, at any rate, hopefully tomorrow night you'll be speaking on behalf of all the poor people that are either too timid to speak or don't understand it enough to speak.
Absolutely, Big. I've been doing that for years, and I'll be doing it again tomorrow night.
Okay, so we're going to try to simplify. Now, Principal Investigator, I sent this to you. And what he's done is he's taken the water and sewer, and he's got grants and things like that here from 2005, right, inclusive all the way through 2014, 10 years, right, Mike?
Correct, taken from the CAFR.
Right, and we have to tell people what a CAFR is because people don't know.
That's the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, Big.
There we go,
There we go.
At any rate, so Mike, just run us through these numbers real quick.
Okay, before we get into that, can I
you got to pull that mic down and get it right aimed at you. Yeah.
Before we get to that, I have a question about the water issue that you just had with that lady. Aren't the water meters in Port Orange, aren't they electronically read?
No, some are, but some are not. But even the ones that are electronically read, they haven't connected the last dot, so to speak, in that they aren't monitored in real time by a computer with a callback or email to the customer. So it's 95% complete, but the last dot has not been connected, Mike.
Okay, because that would solve a lot of your problems, because it would let you know right away if you have a water leak, and you could have saved, or that city could have saved a lot of problems with this lady and many more.
Yeah. We'll go through this Certified Annual Financial Report, right? So this is something that all cities do. This is it is audited after the city puts it together. So Mike studied water and sewer account, right?
Correct.
So tell us about it, Mike.
Well, I went through their CAFRs for the past 10 years, and I wanted to see what the money they were spending as far as expenses and compare that to the incomes. And what I discovered, because some places they say they lose money, but I noticed that in Port Orange with their water and sewer, that over 10 years with what I call the business type, or what they call the business type activities, which is water, wastewater, solid waste, stormwater, and city golf course, over 10 years they had made $105 million in profit.
So over $10 million every year.
Correct. And so the water wastewater by itself had earned over $76 million net profit in this time, or $7 million per year.
Yeah, $7,663,269. In 2005, it made $10 million. Then it made 7, 12, 6, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7, 6. So the worst year was almost $5 million. The best year was $12.5 million profit, right, Mike?
Correct. Yes.
And this is over the charges to the residents and the users, and it's over that also we've added in some grant money. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
And I also discovered in that same amount of time that this past year, their expenses for their water wastewater was only 3% over the 10-year average.
Okay.
And so their expenses really haven't grown that much. And any city, and as you know, you've asked me to look into Holly Hill and why that their expenses have gone up 50%. Well, the one thing I told you before is I couldn't understand that because basically salaries and chemicals are your main
Right.
costs as far as water and wastewater go.
Right.
And they haven't gone up in that type of great amount. And I also noticed that though the income this past year was 2% under the 10-year average, but still they made a considerable profit on their enterprise fund.
Well, so Ted, you've got these numbers now?
Yes, I do.
Well, I think you should bring this up tomorrow night. The city just on water and sewer, just water and sewer, includes the grant. Do you have the sheet with the grants on it now?
Yeah, I do, yep.
Okay, so I think they've made in 10 years $76,632,691, which is $7.6 million every year for 10 years, right?
Yep, that's it on
Maybe
average.
you could ask them why they think they got a problem.
Well, it begs the question, why do they believe they need higher rates, doesn't
And
it?
why are they back billing?
Yeah, really.
I'll tell you, I've thought about that, and, you know, like I've said before, if you use a formula wrong, but you use it wrong consistently, it's still going to give you a workable number. They have been not collecting the money right, but they have adjusted their
Every year
they've
to their shortage.
correct.
If they had one, they didn't even have one.
Right. So what they're going to find out that I believe is going to happen is when they decide get the billing done correctly like they think it should be done, they're going to wind up discovering that they are overbilling everybody, and they're going to actually have to reduce the rates of what they're charging the citizens
Is there
because they
a
have
law
adjusted it up.
on how much is scamming or how much is what do they call it, gouging? Is there a state law that says you can't gouge people when you've got a monopoly like water and sewer?
I would have to look in that. I'm not sure, but I do think there is a percentage.
Does it look like they're gouging people? It looks like they're gouging them to me.
I would think so because as far as government goes, I would believe that you would want to be working on a zero-based budget.
Yeah.
So you should really be only collecting in income what you're going to use in expense.
Well,
To make $7 million in a 1-year period, that's a gouge.
yeah. So Ted, we've talked about stormwater before. Remember, we went to Morgan and we got those 10-year figures. So charges for service was $35 million. That's about what I think it was when we gave you the numbers. This doesn't include 2015. This is 2005 through 2014. I think that was the same number. And then they got $10,500,000 in grants. I mean, that's 45. That's 45. It's over $45 million. Ted.
Absolutely big. And you posed a question yesterday or a moment ago, is there a law? And like Mike, I don't know if there is a law either, but I know kind of how this works. And it works initially before the state's attorney is ever going to get involved in an issue like that. He's going to look to the elected reps down in Port Orange. If they're not taking it seriously, why should he?
Right.
And the question came
Well,
up.
they're the ones that are profiting because they're billing you for water and sewer and paying for something else with it, right?
Absolutely. And in the case of the stormwater fees in Port Orange, the ordinance clearly says it has to be spent on stormwater related issues. And the former Manager Harden, announced from the dais he indeed did not know what was being charged to the stormwater abatement fund.
Well, according to the CAFR, 2005 inclusive through 2014, you spent $20,500,000